Every single week, competitive golfers walk off the golf course beating themselves up for things that they have absolutely no control over. And in doing so, they are destroying the one thing which determines how they show up and perform the following day or the following week at a new tournament. Their confidence and their self-belief in themselves. So they can show up and play their best golf under pressure. And in this video, I'm going to show you what I call the success standard that will help you define what success means and understand what actually happened out in the golf course to stop being harsh on yourself for the wrong reasons and stop wasting or never waste another hour trying to fix things and solve more problems that don't even exist or trying to fix the wrong things. You see, time and time again, I see golfers walk off the golf course with maybe a disappointing score, right? They might not have put together a score that they were particularly happy with, that was good enough, that actually justifies all the time, energy and effort they've put into practice over the past few weeks, and end up heading straight to the range, straight to the coach, putting in more hours, putting more practice, trying to find more problems, more things to fix, and ultimately never really looking at the one thing that helps them show up under pressure. And in doing so, you never really can differentiate the two. You never know whether it's a mental performance issue or you never know whether it's a technical issue. But 9 times out of 10, you'll guess technical. You'll end up on the range, you'll end up on the phone to your coach, and you end up putting in more practice, trying to think of more swing changes than a new one this week than it was last week, and never really performing any better than your last experience, your last tournament. And what's a real shame with all of this is that you golfers can be real harsh on yourself. And it's a shame to see when it's all over the things that you can't even control. The weather, the draw, a bad bounce, the score, the leaderboard, whatever it is. There are only a certain few things that you can control out on the golf course. And that is how you behave, how you act, basically the same things, how you think and how you feel. And when you don't do that, that harshness just very quickly and quietly eats away at that confidence and self-belief that you need in able to think, feel and perform on new levels to ultimately become the golfer that you know you're capable of becoming. And it's just because that you don't really have a system in order to identify what actually happened out at the golf course, to define what a good and what a bad round actually looks like and what success would look like with the things that you can control. And for you right now, every round gets filtered through the same lens. The score, the placing, and those things you can't control. The score tells you nothing useful about how you showed up. Essentially, the score is a byproduct of all of that, but you don't look into it like that. You just look at it black and white, it's the score, this is where I finished, and that's it. Game wasn't good enough, move on. And if you carry on with that attitude, you'll stay exactly where you are. What's funny about this is that you can go out there and play really well, but actually, sometimes be thinking and feeling a little bit off. And it just, it could have been a lot better, but I did hit the ball well and I did score well, and you won't think anything of it. On the other hand, you could play really, really badly, but essentially you keep a cool head, you stay composed, you stay focused, and you stay committed. It's just the swing wasn't there. Your best game wasn't there, and that's okay. But you don't actually have a system to be able to identify whether those things are true or false. And without it, you'll continue to walk off of rounds and walk away from tournaments feeling a bit disappointed and a bit like you've let yourself down, even when you didn't. So, like I promised, I'm going to introduce you to a tool that I use with my golfers inside the Align Golfer when we're installing pressure-proof golf, and that is the success standard. Defining what success actually looks like so that you know what predetermines a good round and a bad round, so that at the end of the round you can assess what's actually happened and what needs work. And that comes from two sides. What does a good round today look like regardless of the score? What does a bad round look like today regardless of the score? Based off of your behaviours, your actions and your thoughts. I'll get into it. And this is exactly how you start separating what is a mental performance issue from what is a technical or physical one. And of course, how you stop walking off rounds being so incredibly harsh on yourself for things that you could never have controlled. So part of the success standard is asking yourself these questions. Question number 1. For me to have had a good round, how would I be thinking, or how was I thinking before the round? Not what score did I want to go out and hit, but who did I need to remind myself of who I am and what I can do out there and what I'm capable of? And how was I feeling walking towards the first tee? Would it be nervous? Would it be anxious? Would it be thinking about the score? Would it be thinking about the leaderboard? Would it be thinking about who you're playing with? Or would it be so incredibly focused on what you need to go out there and do and your process today? Question number 2. How was I thinking and feeling during the round? When pressure arrived, when something went wrong, when you hit a bad shot, made a bogey, when you even made a birdie, right? Were you allowing emotions to control your next move and your behaviors and your feelings and your thoughts? Or were you just giving everything that low level of intensity and just still sticking to the process, not getting too far ahead of yourself on each hole? Like, were you present, or were you thinking 3 holes ahead? Question number 3. How did I respond to mistakes and adversity? Did I carry them forward into the next hole, or was I able to reset? And what does resetting well actually look like for me, so that I know when I'm doing it and I have the evidence that I've done it? Question number 4. What was my body language like? If I was on another hole, if I was caddying, if I was watching, what would I see if you were having a good round, if you were performing well? Not from the score, but just from you going out there and performing in a way that you said you would. Question number 5. If it was a good day, were you enjoying it? Or were you just in survival mode, just trying to get through, playing not to lose? Or were you just enjoying the challenge of golf and being out there and seeing how good this thing can get? Were you playing to win? Because the golfer that enjoys the challenge of competing will perform better than the one that is in survival mode. Question number 6. Were you taking one shot at a time? Or were you thinking 3, 4, 5, 6 holes ahead, 2 shots ahead? Or even 2, 3 shots behind, stuck in what's already happened, and allowing that to dictate your next move and your energy moving forward into the next few holes. Question number 7. How would I feel on hole 18? Not about the score, but how I showed up. Would I be proud in acting and behaving and thinking in a way that I said I would and what I've been working on? And question number 8, the big one. If someone, me, family member, coach, someone else was watching, would they have been able to tell that you were performing well just by watching your behavior? Not your scorecard, but your decisions, your body language, your behavior, how you carried yourself in between each shot. So if you can answer those 8 questions, you'll come up with an idea as to how you're going to carry yourself throughout the round. What if you had done that and you had performed like that and showed up like that? That's a good round. Because then if the score wasn't so great and you'd done all of those things, then you know, okay, this is probably more likely a physical part of my game's issue right now, and I can start to figure out, okay, what let me down by then looking at your stats. From there, you can also ask yourself, well, what does a bad round look like? Identifying what a bad round looked like from the way that you're thinking, feeling, and behaving is just as important as a good one. So make your way through those questions. I'll leave them on the screen here for you. For both a good and a bad round, defining what success looks like and a not so great round looks like. So here's the powerful part. When you're able to answer both set of questions for a good and a bad round, you can ask one important question. Was this a car or was this a driver issue? AKA, was it a physical or technical issue that needs work on with my coach or at the range? Or was it a mindset problem? A belief that I have about myself showed up on that day and got in my head and changed the way I was thinking? Was it an emotional pattern that took over, or a state that I just wasn't able to access? Because when you know that distinction, you stop trying to fix the wrong thing. And you then start doing the thing that will actually move the needle forward in becoming the golfer that you know you're capable of becoming under pressure. So as you can see, the golfers that genuinely carry the most confidence and self-belief throughout their career are not ones that have had perfect tournaments week in, week out. They are the ones that knew what they were measuring, how to measure it, and why those things happened. walking off bad rounds, knowing exactly what held up and why it did, so that then they can walk into the next round with that evidence and that conviction of that what they know is the fundamental issue for them right now, instead of carrying the weight, the emotional weight of the score and all the other things that they cannot control into the next round. So, stop measuring success over things you cannot control. Stop being so harsh on yourself about things that you cannot control. Stop trying to fix things that do not need fixing. And just ask yourself these questions so you can define what success looks like for you, no one else, for you, as to how you know you can show up at your best. And start measuring them by the things that will help you identify whether you are becoming the golfer you know you can be and said you would be. Because that's where the real progress lives. And if you want to learn a little bit more about how I can help you get out your own way, install pressure-proof golf and perform better under pressure, we can book in your free discovery call where we'll look at what you're working towards right now, what's holding you back, and how we can bridge that gap together in making you become an aligned golfer, one that stops dropping 2 to 3 shots per round, can convert their talent into real results, top 10 finishes or better consistently, and perform how they know they can under pressure. Just drop me a message and we can have a little chat on Instagram, Josh Madison, 2Ds, __. And, my inbox is always open. I love helping people in there. And if they feel like they want to call, they can book one in. But for now, I hope this helps. I'll speak to you in the next one.